The life, political achievements, and famous quotes of Martin Van Buren, the 8th President of the United States. Early life. Martin Van Buren, the 8th President of the United States, was born on December 5, 1782, in the village of Kinderhook, New York, to a Dutch immigrant family. Van Buren's childhood was spent in poverty, and Dutch was the language of his home, which gave him a unique accent when speaking English. Despite the family's financial hardships, Van Buren's early life was rich in social and political atmosphere. His father owned a tavern, which became a center for local political discussions. Young Van Buren developed a keen interest in politics in such an environment. He not only witnessed heated political debates, but also encountered a wide range of political views, which profoundly influenced his later political career. Van Buren's education was primarily received in local schools. Despite the challenging conditions, his desire for knowledge never ceased. His family, though impoverished, strongly supported his education, and Van Buren, through self-study and diligence, laid a solid foundation for his future success. Early political career. Van Buren's political career began in local politics, where he quickly demonstrated his political talent. In 1808, he embarked on his public service career, becoming the surrogate of Columbia County. Though seemingly modest, this position provided him with valuable political and legal experience. By 1812, he stepped onto a larger political stage, becoming a New York State senator, and quickly emerged as a staunch supporter of President Madison. During this time, Van Buren showed his deep understanding of policies and strong political stance, especially during the War of 1812, where he firmly supported the government's war against Britain, showing his deep concern for national interests. Van Buren was not only an insightful politician, but also a strategic political fighter. His activity in New York State politics earned him broad recognition, paving the way for his later political career. Tenure as Secretary of State. During President Andrew Jackson's first term, Van Buren was appointed Secretary of State. This position made him the primary architect of American foreign policy. During his tenure, Van Buren displayed exceptional diplomatic skills, handling complex international affairs. His policies aimed to protect American interests and enhance its international standing. As Secretary of State, Van Buren not only focused on foreign policy, but also significantly influenced the direction of domestic politics. His close cooperation with President Jackson won him more political support and trust. Van Buren's political wisdom and strategy were fully demonstrated during this period, and his diplomatic policies and political actions had a significant impact on the development of the United States. Vice Presidency. In 1832, as Jackson's running mate, Van Buren was elected the 8th Vice President of the United States. In this role, he continued to support Jackson's policies and played a decisive role on many key issues. Particularly in the struggle with the National Bank, Van Buren's firm stance helped the Jackson administration succeed. As Vice President, Van Buren was not only a loyal supporter of Jackson but also an important political advisor and partner. His intelligence and strategy helped the government make progress in many challenging situations. Presidency. In 1837, Van Buren succeeded Jackson to become president. His presidency faced unprecedented challenges, especially the economic crisis that erupted in 1837. Van Buren implemented a series of measures to address the crisis, including proposing the Independent Treasury Act as a reform plan. Despite facing significant pressure and criticism, Van Buren adhered to his policies and principles, seeking solutions for the recovery and development of the American economy. His efforts somewhat alleviated the impact of the economic crisis, but also sparked widespread controversy over government policies and actions. Retirement. After failing to win re-election, Van Buren returned to private life but did not completely withdraw from the political stage. He lived a tranquil life at Lindenwold, his estate, while continuing to follow national development and political changes. During retirement, Van Buren wrote and shared his political insights and experiences. He also traveled to Europe, interacting with political leaders and dignitaries from various countries. After the outbreak of the Civil War, Van Buren firmly supported the federal government, showing his steadfast commitment to national unity. In the early morning of July 24, 1862, Martin Van Buren died at Lindenwold Manor. He was 79 years old. Major achievements. In 1837, under the presidency of Martin Van Buren, a significant proposal known as the Independent Treasury Act was introduced. This act aimed to establish a separate federal treasury system to manage federal funds independently, ensuring financial autonomy and preventing the banking sector from exploiting federal finances. Despite facing strong opposition, the proposal was eventually enacted into law in 1840. Additionally, Van Buren advocated for the issuance of $10 million in government bonds to alleviate the economic crisis. The economic downturn that began in 1837 persisted for 6 years, complicating Van Buren's presidency. Delays in congressional action, opposition attacks on the government, and internal divisions within the Democratic Party made navigating through the crisis challenging for Van Buren's administration. The economic strife also sharpened labor-capital conflicts. Workers faced long hours and poor working conditions, while government employees suffered from low wages, leading to continuous protests and strikes demanding government intervention. In response, in March 1840, the Van Buren administration took a progressive step by reducing the maximum working hours to 10 hours per day, aiming to improve workers' conditions amidst the economic hardships. Martin Van Buren, an important political figure in American history, left behind many thought-provoking quotes and views. Here are 20 of his famous quotes. 1. The best role of government is to interfere as little as possible in the lives of the people. 2. Truth and frankness are the best strategies in politics. 3. The most significant days of my life were those when I took on and laid down power. 4. The will of the people is the strongest force in a nation. 5. The essence of democracy lies in listening to different voices. 6. In the game of power, the most important thing is to always stick to principles. 7. Successful politics requires wisdom, patience, and determination. 8. Everyone should be responsible for their actions. 9. The goal of public service should be for the greatest benefit of the people. 10. In difficult times, the role of a leader is especially important. 11. Peace is maintained through wisdom and courage, not just by avoiding conflict. 12. Education is the cornerstone of democracy. 13. Do not fear change. It is the precursor of progress. 14. The prosperity of a nation depends on how it nurtures its younger generation. 15. Laws should protect the weak, not become a tool for the strong. 16. In politics, the hardest thing is often to make the right decision. 17. History will remember those who fight for justice. 18. Justice should not just be an ideal, it should be a standard in practice. 19. The real power of a leader comes from his people. 20. True courage is sticking to the right path in the face of challenges. These quotes reflect Van Buren's deep understanding of politics, freedom, and public service, as well as his personal beliefs.